Most important job. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Herefordshire Means Business Networking Online. My name's Rich. Good to see some new faces again. With me today is the rest of the HMBiz team. So we've got, if you give us a wave as I mention your names, we've got Kerry, Richard, Kim, and Ollie. Also with us is one of our expert speakers who've been with us throughout, and that's Sharon Pocock from Kinder Pocock Accountants. And we've also got our guest speaker today, which is Beverley Jones, but we'll come on to Bev in a bit. If you are new to this event, welcome. Good to see you. I know we've had a few issues, but there seems to be a lot of the issues with Zoom, but we've got there. If you want to have any questions answered, or you've got any comments and things to make, please put a Q or type them into the chat box and we will come on to them. We are recording the meeting and we will send a copy out to everyone who's attended later, and we'll also put it on our YouTube channel for you to go back and see again if there's something you missed or you want to see. This time we've got a guest speaker as usual, but we're also wanting to spend a little bit of time if you get there to look at some of the funding options that are available. There are some new ones that have just been launched, so hopefully we'll get onto those in a bit. And also going forward, we want to really start looking at how we're getting on with lockdown. So we want to know how you're coping with lockdown and how you're coping with business as it is, and also look forward to what we're calling back to business. So where we're going to go forwards after this. So we'll get on to the most important bit, and that is our guest speaker. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Beverley Jones, who is, I've known Bev, I think for about 5 years, something like that. Wow. And you're a bit of a celebrity in Wales, I would say, with the
I don't know.
Radio Wales, and
Wales,
your connections with Apprentice winner Mark Wright, would I say?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can tell us all about it. On your LinkedIn, it says that you're an author, business coach, and a well-being consultant. So that might be something else that you can share with us in a bit. But your talk is entitled "What You Focus On, You Achieve," and I'll hand over to you, Beth.
Okay. I think some of you have met me before anyway. I've done talks at the Herefordshire Business shows and various meetings and stuff. So, and some will know me from other guises, I'm sure. So just a little bit about my background. I started my business 10 years ago in August. I was due to have this lovely, great big celebration, and now that's not happening. So I have to find another way to celebrate, which I will do on August the 2nd. But I started the business on the back of burnout. I was 30 years in the corporate career. I burnt out very dramatically with depression and clinical depression, severe anxiety. And at that point in time, I had to kind of try and find a way, a resource of getting myself back. And in the words of Jamie, who's joined us here, in the words of his, I had to find a way of getting back up. Because I was so low and there was no way that I was ever going to be able to be a success again. I was never going to be happy again. I was never going to be positive again. So I did that, and I've done that over 10 years, and I've realized I'm actually quite resilient. The reason I tell you that is because right now, when this all happened, I kind of wobbled a little bit in the beginning because I was like, oh, what's going on here? You know, I'm in an enforced lockdown. Somebody else is trying to control me. Somebody else is trying to control my life. And while I'm not a controller, as in I don't control people, I don't like controlling people, but I like to control my own diary, and I like to control my own life, and I like to have access to be able to do what I want to do with my business and my life when I want to. And that was all taken away. So for a little while, my anxiety was kind of all over the place, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be doing. However, I did hold on to the fact that, and I know that I'm kind of fortunate in this, that I have a well-being business. So as a speaker, as Rich said, an author, a speaker, a coach, a well-being consultant, I am in the industry that has managed, if you like, to keep going throughout the virus. And that is because of the work I do. I've been helping a lot of people through a lot of anxieties and things. So even though I was getting anxious, I was able to work through my own anxieties to then help other people, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I did, I then shared through books and videos and on Radio Wales and things like that, just to help people get through it. So the first thing I want to say really is, if anybody is feeling anxious at all, then you please know you're not alone. It's happened to a lot of people. It's happened to a lot of people who have never had it before, and a lot of people who've had it before, it's come back. So you're not alone in any of that. So please, you know, be okay with that and be comfortable with that. Ask for help if it's needed, but you're certainly not alone. So what I want to do, Rich, how long have I got? Could you?
Yeah, about half an hour or so.
About half an hour. Okay, just keep it. I want to keep an eye on the time, because I can talk a lot. So I can tell my story. It takes a while. So I just want to make sure that I keep within your time guidelines. So yeah, so a lot of the things that I did at the beginning of lockdown was start to think about, what did I do back 10 years ago? How did I pull myself back up? How did I then start to utilize tips and tools and techniques that I could now use today to help me to help others? Okay. One of the first things I did was I started to set goals every day. Now, obviously, I'm assuming we're all in business here. It's quite difficult, I know, for a lot of people now to see, well, where's my business going? What am I going to be doing with it? How is it going to go forward? So the first thing you need to think about is writing down some goals. When I went through my journey, my counsellor actually said to me, give yourself a reason to get up every day. And I want you to remember that every night now when you go to bed. I'm going to give myself a reason to get up. It's a great motivator. So if you have just one thing that the next day you're going to achieve for your business and yourself, make sure you write it down the night before. Give yourself that reason to get up the next day and to get on with whatever it is you need to do. Have a bigger vision. I mean, right now, here in Wales, I don't know, is anybody else from Wales, or is it just me and Jamie from Wales here? We can only still go 5 miles. So we're not actually allowed to go very far. We've been restricted quite a lot still. But that's no reason why you can't have a bigger picture and a bigger vision for your business. All right, you need to be thinking ahead. You need to think, what do I really want this business to look like going forward? Okay, it might change. It might, even my business, which is a well-being business, has certainly changed. I've been doing more online videos. I've been writing more. I've been building my Facebook groups. I've been using technology a lot more. So if you're not in well-being and you're in something else, you need to be doing these things. Okay, you need to be setting yourself some goals. And one of the ways to do it, to very briefly show you, it's probably going to fall apart, is a vision board. I'll hold it up in front of you there. Can you see it? Okay, so that's my vision board that I did a couple of years ago. Has anybody got vision boards? Can you hold your hand up for goal boards? They're really good. Maybe Rich will let us do a session on vision boarding. Rich, would you do that? Because they're a great way of putting everything you want in pictures and words together. And what happens with these actually is you put things on there that you want your goals to look like, your goals to be. And for instance, Rich mentioned Mark Wright. It's fallen on the floor down here. That's Mark Wright. Let me see him there. And I met him at an expo 2 years ago. I can tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But I wrote on there when I met him and he signed my bag, mentor. Because I thought, wouldn't it be great to have Mark Wright as a mentor? How would that be? So I took that picture and I put it on my vision board. And 2 years later, that's indeed what he is, my mentor and friend now, which is great. So vision boards are a really good way of setting your goals. If you can't do vision boards, do mind maps. They're another great way. And look them up if you don't know how to do them. But please look at a way every day of setting your goals. So important. Every day going forward, and I'm sure you've been doing this anyway, you've been taking action, but I want you to think about taking some inspired action. So when I say inspired action, it's inspired from your gut feeling. It's that feeling you get when you're doing something and you know it's right. It's that feeling you get when you go to do something and you're like, I don't know whether that's going to be a good fit for me. I'm not sure if that's the direction I want to go. Is that the way I'm going because everyone else is going that way? All right. So think about inspired action. If you've got a goal, sit with it and ask yourself that question. What's the inspired action around this? What inspired action is going to take me one baby step further along the line towards that goal? Because that's all we want you to do. Okay, we don't know right now what 6 months ahead is going to look like. I mean, who knew? I don't know if anybody watches Michael McIntyre, but they do this crystal ball thing and he's supposed to be doing a year ahead. And it's quite bizarre because actually, if anybody told you this time last year that this was going to happen, that you wouldn't be able to leave the house, that all these things were going to happen, you wouldn't believe it, would you? You'd be like, right, well, they are, sort of thing. So we don't know what 6 months are going to look like. Okay, we're guessing that 6 months' time there's going to be a different kind of normal. Who knows? Could it be normal? Could it be back to where it was? Could it actually be back but better than what it was? We don't know. So all you need to do as business owners here is to take one inspired step every single day when you get up to a goal that you believe is important for your business. No one else, it's your business, it's your life. Just do something that is important towards that. Visualize your business, like I said, and what you want your business to look like in 6 months. What do you want it to look like in a year? You know, some people go 5 years, 10 years. Right now, I don't think we can do that. I don't think any of us have the capability of probably looking that far ahead at this present moment in time. But we can certainly think about 6 months ahead. Do you want to be doing more? Yeah, exactly, Sharon. 6 months is enough. You know, do we want to be doing more online stuff? Do you want to be doing, do you want to write a book? Do you want to be doing something that maybe just take you in a little bit of a different direction? Because now is the time to do it. But start to visualize it. Start to put pictures together in your mind and on a vision board if you've got one, or we can certainly do one, I'm sure, if Rich says yes to that. But think about what you want your new normal to maybe look like. What's your business going to look like? Yeah. What goals do you want to set yourself? Yeah. Be determined. Be determined to keep things going. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that have, and I'm not being unkind to anybody who's done this because it's very understandable if anyone has gone, I don't know, I can't do anything, I don't know what to do. I'm going to do this because that's the easiest thing to do. I'm not going to come out, I'm not going to look, and one day I'll look and it'll all be okay again. I've got a little message for you here. If you do that, it ain't going to be okay again, because that's like a child. You know when a child goes, you can't see me, like that, but actually you can, can't you? Okay, so when you remove that, it's still going to be there in some way. So what you need to do is to take that off now and to say to yourself, okay, what can I do right now that is going to help me to either, one, grow my business, or two, remain present at this time? And one of the first things you have to do, and it's a message whether it's in this time or any business time, or in fact anything in life, be consistent. It truly is the biggest thing you can do. Be consistent. Keep being who you are, but remain out there. Don't hide, because if you hide, people will think, where have they gone? And when they go to the end of lockdown, they'll think they may have moved on. They might have gone to someone else who does something similar, because you've gone like this. So don't do that. Do that and open up. Be in people, it's awful, but be in people's faces, however way you can, with your business, to make sure they know you are still around, and be consistent with that. Be present on social media. If you haven't got a social media account, now is the time. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't use it personally. I genuinely just, I do put my walks up and my photographs personal, but I don't use it for personal information. I use it solely for business. So what we can do is to get ourselves onto social media. I've upped my social media a lot. I'm on all social media platforms. You'll find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter and Instagram. You'll either find me as Beverley Jones or Awaken Life Coach or Awaken Coaching or whatever. I'll put some links up in the chat afterwards. But be present. And I've upped my game on social media a lot. And the amount of people that have said to me at the moment, oh, you're all over social media. And I don't think I'm all over it, but I'm certainly upping it a lot to make sure that people know what I'm doing, how I'm helping people, and what I can do to keep people's focus around that. Maybe start some blogging. If you haven't got, I'm terrible, even though I'm a writer, I'm not great at keeping up my blog, so I must do that more. But I attended something last week for guest bloggers, and so far I've already got 2 new leads to go and do some blogging on guest sites. They're not always paid. You can get paid blogging jobs as you become a more prolific blogger, but certainly get yourself out there. Go on to Twitter. Go on to Twitter. And if you are on Twitter, look up #journo_request. I'll tap that into the chat afterwards, just so that you know. But it's #journo_request. Through that, just at this time, and other times I've got links as well. But in this time, I've linked up with a journalist who's trying to look at getting my story into some of them, into a major magazine. I've also just had my volunteering experience through lockdown in Positive News, which is a monthly magazine. You can usually get it in WH Smith's, but get it online at the moment. And these little things do make a difference. But Journo Request is where they are always looking for stories. It's journalists looking for stories. So there might be something that's relevant to you. There could be, as I did, you know, who's doing volunteering during this time? Would you like to share your story? Do you know anybody who, for instance, is in business and has diversified? Do you know anybody who is in a lockdown relationship that isn't working or is working? Do you know anybody who got engaged during lockdown? I do. Put your hands up. There we go. So yeah, there's all these little stories, but journal requests are out, and it's constant. And I think it's #PR request as well. But it's a great way of getting into the press or local press and keeping yourself very, very present. Contact, as Rich says, I do stuff for Radio Wales. I got that just by contacting them and asking them. It was at a time they were doing newspaper reviews. So I've started with them now about 5-6 years doing newspaper reviews. But they now know things that I'll talk about. So they'll ring me to take part in discussions and things like that. You have Sunshine Radio, is that Herefordshire Radio? Yeah. Contact Sunshine Radio. Tell them some of the things you've been doing. They might have you on as a guest. You know, all these little things. Herefordshire Times, I don't know if that's still a newspaper, is it? It used to be. Don't know if it is now. Contact the Herefordshire Times. You know, tell them something that you've been doing. Share something. If you've done something in your business that's different. Right now, journalists want stories. They're desperate for stories because they're having to kind of go out there and find stuff, and sometimes they can't even physically go out there. So there are lots of things that they'll do. So if you can write your own little piece and send it in, chances are you'll probably get it published. I write for the local press as well, but I've been doing that for a couple of years. But even if they don't publish what you've written, you know, ask to speak to a journalist and share your story. All right, but it's just a way of getting yourself out there and making sure people still know who you are. Do some volunteering. That's another thing. It's massive to raise your profile. If anyone on here isn't volunteering, volunteer in whatever way you can, even if it's from your front room making phone calls. It's massive. I don't do it really to get recognition. I didn't do it to end up in the press. I do it because I love helping people. But what it has done is it's made people in the village where I live know me for what I do. Before, they just used to think I raised money to put a new church roof on. It was like, oh, is that what you do? It's like, no. So now people know me for the anxiety, the well-being stuff, the helping and things that I do. So it can get you out there a little bit, you're volunteering. So if you do have any opportunities, that's another great way of keeping up your appearances, if you like. Because all of these things, you might think, well, what's that going to do, Bev? How is that going to benefit my business? The one thing it's going to do is going to stand you out from crowds. it's going to make people say, oh, actually, yeah, you're still around. Paul's still around. Martin's still around. Graham's still around. You know, it is literally one of those ways of getting yourself back out there. I've got quite a lot of comments, so I'm going to go through those in a minute. So yeah, just make sure that your profile's up, because when we get to the end of lockdown, people will remember. People will remember the people that were still around during that time. You're going to stick in people's minds more so than if all of a sudden you get to the end of lockdown and you try and relaunch, or you're going to try and put yourself back out there. They'll say, well, where have you been? And I know you've been in lockdown, but you know, there's a gentleman who's part of my Awaken Business Club page on Facebook, which I'll share with you as well. And he does sports massage. Now it's very difficult for him, because over the time he hasn't been able to physically go off and do one-to-one massage, sports massage at all. But he's been so prolific and so active. He's kept his website going by putting out advice. He's offering one-to-one Zoom calls if he can advise you at all with exercise. He's put posts up on how to make masks. He's put posts up around PPE. He's put, you know, anything of interest that he thinks in the health forum is out there. He's done that. He's kept very active on social media. So when we get to the end of lockdown, if somebody's got a bad back, they might think, oh, I'll give Roger a call. I could do that. Whereas if somebody else hadn't done anything, then he will come above. Do you know what I mean? It's just getting in front, because people remember pictures, photographs, that sort of thing. You know, it's just one of those things. So actually, if you have been prolific, people will remember and notice it. And one of the other things I want to say is that never, ever, ever give up. Don't give up. You know, this is not a time to give up. This is a time to stand up and say, I came through that. This is what I did. This is what I changed or I didn't change. Or exactly, so we will go through the comments, because we've got some great comments here. I don't know if other people can see them, but it's some brilliant ones. There are so many things you can do as a business to make sure you are doing something that people will remember you by. I have actually worked with 3 really major clients in lockdown around well-being and helping their teams and everything. I don't know whether that would have come otherwise if we didn't have lockdown. They were connections, but because I'd kept sending them emails every week, they were like, well, that's really interesting. I was doing seminars for them around anxiety and isolation and stuff like that. And it literally just raised my profile. And so they contacted me and asked me to do some work with them. So it is about being present, and it is about being now. And it really is about not giving up. I'm just looking at the clock, sorry, over there. So yeah, very, very key not to give up. You've been in business for a reason. Each and every one of you started your business for a reason. Now, for me, I started my business, as I explained, because I came out of the corporate world with burnout. It was a really difficult time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people, but I also knew I never, ever, ever wanted to work for anyone ever again, that I was going to get my own business, work for myself and retire from that business, because I never wanted to be managed again. That sounds awful. It sounds like I'm a really bad employee, doesn't it? That isn't the case. I had a really bad boss, and it meant I was never going to work for anyone again, because she was just vile. So literally, you know, that was my reasoning. But my why today is to basically stop people going from where I went. And that's twofold. One, not to go down burnout. So I want to help people with their anxieties. I want to stop people from having to go down that path. It was horrible. It was dark. It was not nice. And I don't want that to happen to anyone. So I want to help people with that. And the second thing is I want to help businesses get where I am today in a quicker time. Because here I am 10 years on. Things have been great. I'm working with somebody from The Apprentice. I do BBC Wales. I write for magazines. I write for papers. I've got some really big clients. I've set up all my online programs. I've done all of that, but I want to help people get there quicker than 10 years. Yeah, because I wish I'd kind of knew all this stuff many years ago. But that's my why. But I want you to go away and think about your why today. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why did you start your business in the first place? What was it about you that went, I'm going to do that. That's my why. Because it's that why that will carry you through the rest of this time in semi-lockdown or lockdown if you're in Wales. Do not lose sight of it, because it's the very reason, it's the very core of why you started your business. It's the very reason why you do what you do. And I'm guessing whatever you're in, it doesn't matter whether you're a plumber or a sports therapist or a well-being consultant or an accountant, you're doing it because you want to help people in that field of your professional spectrum, yeah? So you need to continue to do that. You don't need to give up. You don't need to go and do other things. You can still do what you set out to do when you started your business. It's your why, and it's the reason why you need to hold on and keep doing what you're doing. There's a great quote by Bob Marley, and I want you to take this away as well. There's a lot to take away, but he says, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And that is so relevant for this time. I never knew how strong I was 10 years ago. I thought I'd never, ever get out of it. But I did, and I bounced back. We are all resilient. We can all do it. Great quote on Facebook recently. We may all be in very different boats, but we are all in the same storm right now. We're all going on that similar path. We're just in different boats. We're paddling a little bit quicker. Some of us don't need to paddle maybe as fast, but we are all in it together. And as business owners, we really can stick together, help each other out, etc., and be there to, you know, help and guide where we can. If you want to connect with me, as I've said, I've got LinkedIn, so you can connect with me as Beverley Jones on LinkedIn. But if anybody's on Facebook, what you can do is, I started the Awaken Business Club, and Rich has said that I can share this here. I started the business club 3 years ago, and it's actually started off as people coming to a group here in Raglan once a month, and I would help them and support them on their business as a mentor. It was born on the back of me winning the Business Wales Mentor of the Year award in 2017. So I thought, oh, I need to do something, I need to help more people. So I set up the Awaken Business Club. And over the years, it's been a group on Facebook, but I decided now going forward with it, I wanted to make it a little bit more, more like a membership group, more that people, I could give more and help and support more people. So I started to grow it. I made it a private group because I want people to be able to be open and honest. It's a very confidential group. I want people to say, I'm having a really, excuse my language, shit day actually, and I need some help. Yeah. And I want it to be that group. I don't want people to think I always have to be successful. I always have to be this. You don't always have to be. We all have days where we're having what I call wobble days. It's okay to feel like that. And if you don't want to put it in there, you can directly contact me. I will try and get, you know, what I can to help guide you and get you through it. So link up with me there, join my Facebook group, which is the Awaken Business Club. You'll see two. There's one for Premier membership. That is the paid membership where we meet every month, or you get on my webinars and things, but you don't have to pay to be in the Facebook group. It is a total free resource. All right. So I do posts every day about, oh, I don't know. What is your why was one, what's your favorite book, all sorts of things. There's some fun things, there's some great interaction on there, so please join it. But the other thing I'm doing as part of that, and again, Rich has very kindly let me share this today, is I'm launching, very similar to this, but seminars, online seminars with guest speakers. So it is very similar to this. However, I'm launching on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 23rd is my first one. They will be £5 a ticket to come, and that's because obviously I'm trying to get some really valuable, I'm not saying I'm not valuable, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? I'll get some valuable speakers. But I'm just doing the £5 because I have to kind of pay for some of these speakers, and you know, Rich and I, oh, I'm not going to get into all that nonsense, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, Mark Wright is doing the first one. So they're £5 per ticket if you're on that Facebook group. I'm looking to get, if anybody knows Sue Stone, she was on Secret Millionaire. I'm hoping to get her for the July one. And that's all it takes. Just be in that group and you can get your tickets at £5 for that. So Mark's coming along next Tuesday. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. He's going to talk about how to, or what your business will look like post-COVID, or how to, you know, give you some tips around COVID, getting through COVID and coming out the other side. But he'll also be around for questions and answers as well. So he will get your questions ready if you are coming along or would like to come along. You can book your ticket. I'll put my website actually up on here. But once you're a member of that group, you can book your ticket via my website, and I'll put that up in the chat. If you're not on Facebook and you think, well, I'd really like to go to that seminar and I'm not on Facebook, usually the tickets would be £20. But as a group here today, then I'm happy to let you have them for £5 anyway. So if you can't get onto Facebook and you don't particularly able to access that group, then I'm happy to do the £5 ticket anyway. So just go on. I'm sure Rich will know who's been on. I'll send you the link, Rich, and maybe you can send out the link to the website and the people on here can book for the £5. All right, you'll know about that. So, but I would like you to join the support group if you can, because we do try to give a little bit back as much as we possibly can through posts and stuff. All right, so that's next Tuesday. I think that's it from me. Have we got any questions like here on an open forum? Do you want to do questions, Rich? I can look in the chat.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bev. That was brilliant, and I'm sure everyone will appreciate you taking the time out today to speak and join with us. And there are a few comments on here.
We've got, do you want me to just read through them quickly?
Yeah.
You've got Ewan has said, there's a quick note, there's Hereford Men's Mental Health Group, peer support for men in Herefordshire. Great, Ewan. It is actually Men's Mental Health Week this week, if you didn't know that. So you can look up some stuff. If you do want to do any blogging around, it's a great time for you gents to go out and do some maybe blogging or put something up around men's mental health if you feel you want to do that, but certainly join that group as well. Sharon, 6 months is enough at the moment. I know. And doesn't 6 months go by quickly? Who knows? We're on shopping day, Thursday again tomorrow. Don't know where the time goes. Is that Open University, Ewan, you've got there? I've got OU, have lots of free courses available at the moment. I'm encouraging staff to undertake personal development. Yeah, really great way going forward. I learnt this morning, I'm a champion for Time to Change Wales. And one of the champions on there, she's given me the name of a course of which I'm going to be doing. So I'll send you this through, Rich, because it's really interesting. I want to say it's on free learning, but that might be the wrong one. But it's basically, it's a free course and it's 3 lessons, 1 hour a week for 3 weeks. You get a certificate at the end of it. And it's all about psychology and mental health and helping people through, if you're a volunteer or a support, or you've got family, or you just want to know things to say and what to do. I mean, I haven't sat through the course yet, but it just looks really interesting. So that's another free one. So I'll get that sent out because I think that'll be really useful for a lot of people. Yeah, is it Udemy, Louise? Can't see Louise on here now.
I think she's gone.
Has she gone? But she says Udemy is another one, which are doing some courses. Sharon says, keep blogs up to date. They'll still be there in the future. Very true. They're always going to be there. So once this is all gone. We have a driving instructor. We've helped to build online quizzes for students. Yeah. Anything like that, doing online things right now is really going to help people. If you're a digital expert, Digital Boost are looking for volunteers. There's a voluntary one there. Let's just, Michelle. Hello. She says she loves the Bob Marley quote and her stepson is named Marley after him. Oh, that's nice. Sharon. I thought it was men's health week rather than mental health. It could be you, and I'm not sure. I just saw it as something to do with mental health the other day. So it could be men's health in total. So if anybody's got anything to add to that, it would be great. So, and Martin, yeah, we've got a lot in common. We'll have to connect, Martin. Oh, and Jamie says it's men's health, and he'll know that because he works a lot in that forum. So, yeah, questions. I'm guessing. Is there anything anyone wants to ask? Or
Yeah, has anyone got any other questions or comments that they want to make?
sorry, I went very fast there. I felt like I was reading along.
I've got a question. You mentioned about knowing what your why is. Is there
Mhm.
an easy way of knowing what your why is if you don't know what your why is?
If you don't know what your why is, it's a difficult one. I've been asked that in the group. I'm going to be answering it. So if you're in the group this week, yeah, somebody's asked me that actually. How do I find my why? There's a great TED talk by a guy called Simon Sinek. Yeah. Find Your Why or something like that. I haven't got the book with me here. I'll be posting it up. There's his quote that says, you know, your why is not the reason that you exist. It's the reason, you know, so it's like your very being sort of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a TED talk called Find Your Why or something. But look, again, I'll write that in a note to you, Rich, and you can share that out. But Simon Sinek helps with that. But for me, it was very much sitting down and just thinking, what is it I want to achieve? What is it I want to do? How do I want to impact other people's lives? I'm guessing that was for me what I asked myself. And then my why became, I don't want anyone else to go where I went, or, you know, I just want to help people get through this journey easier than I did. So that became my why. But yeah, if you haven't got your why, then certainly I can post you. I'll put that video up, or I'll certainly send that video link. And there's another company I work with when I went to one of Mark's seminars, and they do a lot around your why. So if I can find what they do. But
Look, she's found it for us.
there you go, Sharon. Yeah, it's a great one. It's a really good talk, as all TED Talks are, but that one's particularly good if you're looking for your why. And that's what you need to have in the background the whole time, really, is your why. I'm doing a lot of work with a guy called David Vandalis or something like that. Does online community and online coaching, online programs. And one of his first things he gets you to do is to look at your why. That is a great book as well. Start with your why, Sharon. Yeah. So a couple of good things there to look at. Okay. How do I, sorry, somebody's just asked me a question there, Richard. How do you manage your time with so many hats on? Do you use a paper diary? One, the answer is yes. I do use a paper diary. I do not use an electronic diary. Jamie's laughing because he knows me well, and if I have any technical problems, I ring Jamie and go, that's just driving me mad. So yes, I use a paper diary. My sister says I have more hours in the day than anybody she knows, because apart from doing all this work and being all over the place, I do actually volunteer at the minute and look after 10 households. So, and I bake cakes, and I do gardening, and I do photography. So yeah, it's all cool. It's all cool. But do you know what? I do all of that. I don't do evenings. Anybody on here, and Jamie will vouch for me here, if you put anything online after 6 o'clock, you might push it. Anything after that, 7 o'clock, I won't attend. And I don't attend because the evenings are my time. They're my family time. I gave them up for 30 years. 30 years I gave up my time, and I won't do it anymore. And I can't do it anymore anyway. So what I can do in my days, I do in my days. My weekends, I run events. Sometimes I do mind, body, spirits events. All my events have been cancelled this year. So, and I do vision board workshops. I run those sometimes on weekends, but very, very rarely do I work a weekend. I might turn on if I've got something comes up. I don't have my recent email address on my phone because, well, Jamie will laugh, I don't know how to get it on there. So it's really annoying. So I can't see them anyway. But yeah, I do absolutely have times. My Awaken Business Club, and I make no apologies for this, you don't see posts in the evening and you don't see posts on weekends. I think the same should apply to everyone. You know, I don't go on to other things either. Very rare do I answer stuff around social media on weekends. I don't send emails. If you send me an email, if Rich sent me one last night to say there was an issue with this, I wouldn't have got it till when I got on the computer. computer at 7, 8 o'clock this morning because the birds woke me up. But I wouldn't get it, and then I would answer. If you need to get hold of me desperately, send me a message on Facebook, and I will answer you if it's relevant for the next day. If you need to know something, if you're cancelling, or do you know what I mean, something like that, fine. But if it's just a question, no, it's my time, and I urge everybody to do that. But yeah, so that's great. Glenn says she's just started to think about her because. That's great. And Ewan's got a question. Let me minimize. Oh, what have I done now? Whoops. I completely clicked out of everything, and I just got a massive chat box. Sorry, Ewan, you've got a question.
It's first off, I just wanted to say thank you for your honesty, because it's a journey that I understand very well, having been through exactly a very, very similar thing myself. Certainly understand the thing about protecting your time and the importance of that work-life balance. I was just going to pick up on what you said about well-being businesses actually coming out of this reasonably well, and I think that is the case. And I think what I've seen is also businesses that are investing in their staff's well-being through this phase. So even if they're not well-being focused themselves, if they're invested in the well-being of their staff, they're appearing to be more resilient from what I can see, and that their staff are being more adaptable and more creative to help get them through. So I think it's a really valuable message. Just off the back of that, a slightly shameless plug is that I've just redone my mental health first aid instructorship to enable me to deliver online mental health certificated courses. And we will be starting those very shortly. So if it is something that you want to support your staff with, then do look me up on LinkedIn and we'll pick up on that. But the wellbeing agenda, absolutely critical. Yeah. We should be making the best of this time to get more people in this sector into wellbeing and into social care.
Okay. Well, what I can do is I'll let me just write your name down. I've got quite a lot of corporate contacts, and I send out every week or a couple of times a week. I send out an email to them. Can be various either helpful things or just chat or whatever, that sort of stuff. But if you have a website, Ewan, and stuff, what I'll do, I'll link up with you on LinkedIn. I'll send you.
I've sent you a connect already, actually.
Brilliant. Okay. And what I'll do, I will let people know in my community. I have a community page, and I'll let people know that you're doing the mental health first aid training online. And then I'll put a link to your site for you to have a look at that. All right. No problem. Somebody else. Jamie, did you have a question? You can't possibly want to ask me anything. You've known me 8 years. Go away. You're a stalker. He has.
Let's clear that up, Beverley. Can I point out that you generally stalk me, and it's usually because you have messed up something with your IT. I'm just saying, okay. But it's less of a question and more of a statement. So yes, I have known Beverley for many, many years, more than I care to remember. However, when I first met Beverley, we were both in relatively different places, both with our professional and life experience. And you know, Bev is not only my friend, but she's also my inspiration and my mentor. But myself and Charlotte, who's my fiance, we're the ones that got engaged during lockdown, by the way. One thing I would like to say and highly recommend is that you have a little read of Beverley's book called Made It Through the Rain. If you are trying to identify your if, when, maybe, but, why, what, that book will certainly help you. It has certainly helped me. I was in a corporate, very highly regarded corporate job with 3,000 staff, 3,000 other members of staff. I was on the verge of burnout and I walked out. Cut a long story short, my boss said something I didn't agree with. I said many things that I know he didn't agree with. And we ended up me quitting on the spot. And now I run my own successful business, which with Beverley's help and a little bit of guidance has been a great 6-year journey. However, last year, Charlotte was in a very similar situation. We went to take the dog for a walk and we were out for about 2 hours and she never stopped moaning about her job. I came home and politely said to Charlotte, have a little read of this book, see what you think. 2 weeks later, she quit her job and now works with me.
That sounds terrible, doesn't it? Please, if you Bev helps you quit your job. That's what that sounds like. But
yeah,
it does help you find your why a little bit, I think.
Yeah. What it done was it made Charlotte and myself realize, and I'm going to swear, so if you've got sensitive ears, please shut them, is that I was sick of working for pricks who didn't care about anyone else but themselves, and they certainly didn't give two hoots about the people working underneath them. And one of the things that I've always remembered, both in my professional and personal experience, is if you work for another company, you are just a number. You are just a person. That's it. Well, you're not even a person. You're just a number. And I always used to say, you know, if I dropped dead today, they'd fill my desk on Friday. And as it happens, I quit my job on the Wednesday, and there was someone in my desk by the Friday. So exactly what I said. But I recommend Beverley's book, highly recommend it, not just because she's a friend of mine, but also because it helped me and it helped Charlotte. And it's helped my next door neighbor, who's literally just read the book and has now set up her own company. It does give you that little bit of guidance. It took me 6 years to read Beverley's book because I couldn't bring myself to know or have the knowledge that she had been in so much pain. But it did take me 6 years to finally open it, and it took me 2 days to read it. So highly recommend it. And that's basically all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I didn't pay you for that, but thank you very much. I know I always forget to mention my book. I am an author, but I forget to mention it. I even go to events and people say, have you got any books for sale? And I'm like, nah, forgot to bring them.
So my question, Bev, is where's your book? How much is it? How much can I buy it for?
Oh, bless you. You can get it on Amazon. It is called Made It Through the Rain. Just remember, it isn't linked to Barry Manilow's song at all, but if you listen to Barry Manilow's song, you will understand that he was probably going through a similar story to me at the time. So yeah, Made It Through the Rain. You can get it on Amazon. However, I do have many free ebooks. Again, I'll drop you a note, Rich, of all the things that I've said. And if people want those ebooks, they can get them. There's 7 tips to avoid burnout and 7 signs you're not coping and financial well-being and all sorts of stuff I've written. So yeah, oh, bless you, Sharon. Thank you. The book's there. So yeah, if you need anything, basically, I'll write them all up and you can send them out. Okay. Thank you, Rich.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Anyone
you got a question, Richard? Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, hi, Bev.
Hi.
Yeah, I met Bev and Jamie in Chepstow at one of your events.
Yes, you did.
Years ago. Rich and I came down, and yeah, it was great meeting you. But Jamie has just recommended your book. I'd just like to recommend people to hook in with Jamie because he is a true inspiration. And if you can get a chance to go and listen to him talk, it's fantastic. He's really great, and he's you know, he's a proper bubbly character. And the thing about him that's I find so funny is that you'll see him on crutches some of the time, and then all of a sudden he just will walk without the crutches, and you think, what's this guy on? But when you see him stand up and talk and you hear his story, it's fabulous. So I recommend everyone hooks in with Jamie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, have we taken up your funding time, Rich? Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We always seem to overrun with this meeting. We maybe should have made it a little bit longer, but there's so many different Zoom meetings that people have to go to. We spend our time juggling Zoom at the moment, I think. But I've just got a couple of just quick things as far as Herefordshire goes. There's this new discretionary fund that's now available. It's only ticking a few boxes, unfortunately, again, but more details of that is all on our website. And the Hereford Times, I know, Bev, you mentioned the Hereford Times. Yes, it's still going. And they've actually got a new campaign that they're doing, free advertising campaign. So there's a link there. People just fill in a form, send a picture, and they're actually trying to do some active promotion for businesses. So yeah, that's it as far as those important information goes. Thank you, Sharon. Speak again soon. Anyone else got any comments or quotes they want to quickly mention before we finish? I will send over all Bev's links over in an email later on
Yeah.
today or tomorrow, so everyone's
do
got
that.
the links. And please do connect with Bev and have a look at the group. I'm really looking forward to Mark Wright next week.
Yeah, he'd be good. He's a very, very honest, inspirational speaker, and trust me, if you've got any questions, he will answer them. He's brilliant, and I just want to say thank you, Rich, for everyone else goes for the opportunity to be here today, because it's been great to meet some people. And if anything I can do to help any one of you connect with somebody, do anything, get links to anyone, you want to get out to corporates, whatever, please, when Rich sends the connections through, connect with me and I'll do what I can to help you go forward. So sorry, Rich.
But don't ask me to help you set up your emails. Because that's not going to happen.
Not technical. Not technical, no, don't ask me technical.
But if you don't mind me saying, Rich, just very quickly, because obviously you guys all, I work very closely with Beverley anyway, but we are offering free online advertisement. So if any of you want a little bit of free online advertisement, let us know. All right, we will. Anyone, if you come in through and you just make sure you tell me you're from this group, and we'll sort you out, get you on the hub, get you some free advertisement, and that will help you boost it up. Have a look at the site. More than happy to help. And I know Richard, we've also had contact, so just let us know. I just want to punt that out there because I'm not selling anything. It is for free, so just let us know and we'll have a chat. And again, with Beverley, I'm more than happy to help anyone who's here who needs it.
Yep.
Great, thank you, Jamie, and hope to try and get you on one of these Zoom meetings as well. You should be at Everest, or would you have been back by now?
We'd be back from Everest by now, but that's been postponed now.
Be back.
I'm climbing Everest next year.
Yeah.
Apparently Beverley's coming with me because of the amount of walking she's been doing lately. But yeah, I'll be climbing it on crutches. But I was actually due to be a guest speaker here anyway. Before we went
definitely.
Lockdown. So
yeah.
Who knows where the future's going to be?
Change. We'll get there. We'll get there definitely. And you'll get up Everest as well.
If
okay.
If going to talk here, then obviously it's. Do you know what I mean? I'm missing out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like missing out.
Okay, brilliant. That's great. Okay, thank you everyone for attending. We will be back here on, I think it's the 1st of July, is 2 weeks' time. I'm hoping to possibly get someone from Herefordshire Council to come along and talk to us, but I don't know how well that will go down. But as I know this is being recorded, I won't say any more about it. If you enjoyed it, please come along again when we next meet, and tell your friends. And don't forget, please connect away with Beverley and everyone else on LinkedIn and Facebook and everything. It's really good to connect with people. And apart from that, thank you very much, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.